In the heart of a sprawling metropolis stood a colossal mall, its glass facade reflecting the dreams and desires of those who entered its hallowed halls. It was here that our beloved Snow White found herself, blinking in the bright fluorescent lights, overwhelmed by the sheer magnitude of this modern-day labyrinth. She had traded her enchanted forest for polished floors and escalators, leaving behind the whispers of the wind for the murmur of countless conversations. But fear not, dear audience, for this tale is not of peril and despair, but of laughter and light-hearted adventure. Picture, if you will, Snow White, not amidst the cottage's cozy confines, but standing before a towering skyscraper, dwarfed by its imposing grandeur. As she gazed upward, her eyes wide with wonder and a hint of fear, a gentle breeze tousled her raven hair, carrying with it the scent of exhaust fumes and distant street food. The cacophony of the city, the honking of taxis, the distant sirens and the ceaseless hum of activity was a stark contrast to the tranquil woods she called home. Her first instinct, as pure and innocent as ever, was to seek solace in the company of animals. But alas, the city's fauna was less than welcoming. The pigeons strutted and cooed, unafraid and unmoved by her presence. The rats scurried in the shadows, and even the stray dog she encountered eyed her with suspicion before trotting away. Alone and bewildered, Snow White's gaze fell upon a sleek black rectangle in the hands of a passing woman. It was then that she realized she was holding a smartphone, mistaking it for a magic mirror. She inquired about her reflection, only to be met with puzzled looks and stifled giggles. In that moment, Snow White felt a pang of longing for the comforting familiarity of the enchanted forest. Determined to press on, Snow White decided to seek out the legendary 7 dwarfs who, according to the tales, lived deep within the heart of this concrete jungle. She skipped down the bustling streets, humming a merry tune, oblivious to the stares and whispers she elicited. To her, the towering buildings seemed like the very walls of a giant's castle, and the roaring traffic was nothing less than a dragon's mighty roar. In her quest to find the dwarfs, Snow White stumbled upon a magnificent structure adorned with colorful lights and enticing aromas wafting from its open doors. It was a place called a coffee shop. With a hopeful smile, she entered, believing it might just be the humble abode of her 7 friends. There she encountered a variety of peculiar creatures, each engrossed in their own strange rituals. Some sat hunched over steaming flasks, while others tapped furiously on glowing rectangles. When Snow White approached the counter, she tried to inquire about the dwarfs, but her words came out as a jumbled mess to the jaded barista. In a moment of inspiration or perhaps desperation, Snow White broke into song, hoping to charm the necessary information from the unimpressed server. But her melodious voice did little to pierce through the city's indifference. The only response she received was a politely worded request to keep it down. Determined to succeed, Snow White attempted a different tactic, offering to clean tables and chairs in exchange for information about the dwarfs. Though it was clear no one had seen them, one kind customer offered to buy her a drink, perhaps in the hopes of ending her enchanting performance. Overwhelmed with gratitude, Snow White accepted the offer, unknowingly taking a sip of true love's kiss, the name of the latte art concocted by the barista. With renewed determination, Snow White ventured forth once more, eager to uncover any new clues about her long-lost companions. The city, however, seemed determined to test her patience and resilience. She found herself utterly baffled by the cryptic symbols and indecipherable sounds that dominated the landscape. Every turn she took led her deeper into a maze of towering structures and rumbling metal beasts. In her quest to find a friendly face, Snow White spotted a group of people gathered around a flickering screen. Seated before them was a mysterious figure shrouded in darkness, seemingly captivating the attention of the entire crowd. As she drew closer, she could hear fragments of their hushed whispers, their voices echoing her own name. Could this enigmatic individual hold the key to finding her lost companions? With bated breath, Snow White stepped into the circle, eager to seek assistance from this mysterious being. As the spotlight hit her face, Snow White realized she had stumbled upon a busker performing for the amusement of passers-by. The figure in question was none other than a street magician, his dark attire and dramatic flair adding to the intrigue surrounding his act. With a flourish, he pulled a white rabbit, a nod to Snow White, from his sleeve, eliciting gasps and applause from the onlookers. But alas, he was of no help in her quest for the dwarfs. Undeterred, Snow White pressed on, hoping to decipher the secrets of this perplexing city. Her journey led her to a park, a small patch of green amidst the gray expanse. Here, at least the trees were familiar, though their branches lacked the talking birds of her homeland. Still, she sat upon a nearby bench, momentarily forgetting her troubles as she watched children playing and couples strolling hand in hand. But soon enough, her thoughts drifted back to the dwarfs. Curious, Snow White joined the onlookers and gasped in surprise when she saw her own image on the screen. It seemed that the city's security cameras had caught her singing in the park, and now the whole city was watching. Suddenly, a deep voice boomed over the loudspeaker, demanding that Snow White come forward and identify herself. Startled, she realized that she had become the center of attention and was unsure of what to do next. As the crowd began to murmur and speculate about her identity, Snow White's heart raced. What would happen now? Would she be taken to a laboratory for tests? Would she spend the rest of her days trapped in a glass box? Her mind raced with possibilities, and she couldn't help but feel a sense of dread creeping over her. Before she could decide on a course of action, a man with a badge approached her, his eyes fixed on her with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. He introduced himself as Detective Grimm, notorious for solving the toughest cases in the city. And now he had a new mystery on his hands, the enigmatic Snow White. As the detective closed in on her, Snow White's mind raced. Should she reveal her true identity or try to blend in with the crowd? The decision was a difficult one, and the clock was ticking. Before she could make up her mind, Detective Grimm reached out a hand and gently touched her arm. His touch was surprisingly kind, and his eyes held a glimmer of warmth. She looked into his face and saw not a menacing interrogator, but a fellow seeker of truth, someone who, like her, was on a journey to uncover the unknown. And so Snow White decided to trust him, knowing that together they might just unravel the city's greatest secrets. As their adventure continued, Snow White discovered that the city was not as cold and unfeeling as it had initially appeared. Beneath the grime and the clamor, she found pockets of kindness and camaraderie that warmed her heart. She learned to navigate the chaotic streets, decipher the cryptic subway signs, and even order a cup of tea without causing a traffic jam. One day, as Snow White strolled through a bustling marketplace, her eyes caught sight of a peculiar sight. A young woman with flowing locks was perched atop a fruit stand, belting out a show-stopping rendition of Let It Go from Frozen. The crowd, initially startled by the sudden burst of song, soon erupted into applause, their faces alight with appreciation for the unexpected performance. Intrigued, Snow White approached the woman after her performance and introduced herself. The two quickly struck up a conversation, and Snow White learned that the woman was an aspiring actress named Elsa, who was using every opportunity to showcase her talent. As their paths intertwined, Snow White and Elsa formed an unlikely friendship, with the classic princess guiding her modern counterpart through the intricacies of expressing one's true self in a sometimes unappreciative world. And so their journey continued, a delightful fusion of old-world charm and contemporary spirit, reminding us that no matter where we find ourselves, a little bit of magic and a lot of friendship can light up even the grayest of cities. And guys, don't forget like, comment and subscribe Hanum Cartoon. Bye!